Welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast, where we believe there is a produce mom in all of us. I'm Lori Taylor, founder and CEO of the Produce Moms. For 10 years, I sold fresh produce to over 300 grocery stores in the U.S. And today, my team and I are fully focused on inspiring people to eat more fruits and vegetables. This show is just one of the ways that we hope to inspire you and your family to eat more produce and live a better life. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, join our community of almost 40,000 in all 50 states and over 30 countries by visiting theproducemoms.com/subscribe. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks for being here. Enjoy today's show. Welcome back, everyone. This is the Produce Moms Podcast. I'm Lori. So thankful, as always, to be the host of this show. I almost said guest. I feel like I'm the guest. You know, I welcome these amazing people to the show week after week. And how blessed am I to learn so much from them and to have the opportunity to, you know, just help showcase these amazing stories that really help frame our fresh produce experience at home and throughout the entire supply chain. And today we are welcoming Jeff Watkin. He is the Director of Marketing for Sev-Rend. Sev-Rend is a packaging manufacturer, and they're based in the United States. Their HQ is right near St. Louis, in the metro area of St. Louis. They're on the Illinois side. And Jeff has been with Sev-Rend for over 8 years and oversees all sorts of things that are related to the marketing activities for this company. And you know, he's through his and his team's innovation and dedication to, you know, the company and packaging, they've really helped elevate Sev-Rend to an industry leader. And they were so kind to reach out to me this year and just I've had the opportunity to get to know a lot of folks at Sev-Rend, and I've really enjoyed it. And they've taught me a lot. And I kind of asked them some tough questions like, what's up with the plastic and packaging? And so those are the kind of questions we're going to ask today. And for all the produce moms tuning in, hey, Jeff is a produce dad. He has an 18-month-old daughter, and we are thrilled to welcome him, and shout out to his wife and his baby girl. And Jeff, we're glad you're here.
Hi, Lori. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate you and the Produce Moms team, you know, giving us the time to talk with you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I appreciate it too. I'm glad you're here as well. And tell us a little bit more, you know, as we get this party started, Jeff, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Okay. Well, I'm, again, Jeff Watkin. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Sev-Rend. I've been with the company a little bit over 8 years. I've lived and worked in the St. Louis area for a little over 13 years now. In a previous life, I used to work in the retail side of things, and gravitate over to the production manufacturing side to come over on board with Sev-Rend. So I've seen both sides of the fence. I always like to say I've lived in that retail environment. I know how to, you know, to put sets together, the visual merchandising side, the putting together the private label side of things. And now, you know, with Sev-Rend, I'm on the other side of the fence where I'm receiving that artwork, or we're working with those entities, those retailers, to help set up the packaging for private label. And it's a very interesting dynamic because, you know, you go from a creative side to more of a analytical manufacturing side. It can be you're a right brain, left brain, you know, scenario.
Right.
So it's been very interesting for me on that.
No, I love that. And so Sev-Rend is a packaging manufacturer. Is that the correct way
That is correct. Yep. And so we have primarily serviced the produce industry, but we play in other industries as well. Produce industry is how this company came up to be. And originally Sev-Rend was a manufacturer of tags and labels. And you probably saw, like, on your knitted bag of potatoes or onions, you'd have a tag hanging on it, or a label that would be on like a potato for a microwave. Since I've been with Sev-Rend, we've grown from just being a tag and label company into a flexible packaging game. And then we also manufacture the netting for the produce as well. So we are very dynamic as a company, as we're able to service multiple areas within the produce industry, and we're not an equipment manufacturer. We're just a packaging manufacturer. So, we're not married to an equipment type that we have to service as consumables with. We are more focused in able to spread out and service several areas, which a lot of our clients like, because we're able to, help in multiple areas on their packaging portfolio.
That's right. Well, let's get into some of the nitty gritty. I mean, I don't have to tell you, as someone who leads marketing and communications for a packaging company, that packaging isn't necessarily the consumer's favorite thing about food. So we get way more negative commentary about packaging than we get positive commentary about packaging at the Produce Moms. And, it is it's a paradox that I don't think consumers quite understand, that there are necessary mediums to protect the food in the supply chain. There are, it supports the longevity or the shelf life of the food. A critical point that's top of mind for all consumers right now is food safety, and beyond food safety, sanitation, like the thought of a bunch of people touching food that I'm going to bring into my home isn't exactly appealing right now. And so, or really anytime, but especially right now. And so those are all things that through the Produce Moms, we've when we're met with that, I hate packaging, I just want to see it all go away. Sometimes we will say, okay, well, these are some of the reasons why this exists. And my hope is during this episode, Jeff, that you and I can have, a great conversation, that we really dive into this. I mean, you're the expert here, more than I am. Like I said at the top of the show, I'm the guest today. This is your show. But in all seriousness, I mean, what is the importance of packaging in agriculture? Why does it exist?
Well, packaging is extremely important in the agriculture side of things. And you think it can break down into three categories, but there's an overarching theme of profitability. But think about it. With packaging, that protects the product. You kind of hit that comment already. But also there's transportation, shipping. It makes sure that product gets to that store shelf so the consumer can buy it. And then also you've got communication. Communication is one of those things. It's supporting a brand. It is promoting that product. It is educating that consumer on that product. Right. So, I always like to say there's really three themes here but the overarching of it all is that profitability. And when I say that is, think about when, getting that product to the shelf so that farmer, that grower, packer can sell that product successfully, but also help to identify that product as well in terms of, think about conventional and organics. If you look at a conventional avocado and an organic avocado, you can't really tell the difference.
Yeah, you can't at all.
There is a difference in price there. And, if you run into an issue at the store level where, say, they're just bringing up conventionals, there's profitability that's lost, not only for that store, but for that grower packer. So it's very important in those regards. And, I always like to fall back on my thoughts on produce industry in general and packaging. Packaging is kind of new for the produce industry still, broadly speaking. It's a perimeter area of the store. It's not the grocery or the center part of the store where,
I guess you're right.
That
like cereal has always been in a
there.
package. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I haven't really thought of it that way, Jeff. So yeah.
Well, in the other thing you think about with produce is, it's so easily sold loose. But, we're running into issues nowadays that, people are, they're kind of sensitive to buy that one, loose potato or loose orange. They want to buy that 2 to 3 pound bag for a plethora of reasons. But, with that packaging, then you also have the vehicle for communications on things. And, I know with your podcast, and Produce Moms, you guys are very big on promoting new fresh fruits and everything. And packaging really kind of helps out with that as well.
Sure.
At the store level, with packaging, you got to keep in mind, it also makes it into the consumer's home. And so that message, that brand, that recipe will make it into the consumer's home, which, kind of strengthens and solidifies and, the message, everything.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing as you were talking, I have to touch on it.
Mhm.
The calling out that it's a strategy for stronger profits. And
Mhm.
that's another one of those things. I'll put profit in agriculture is like consumers want to talk about that as much as they want to talk about packaging and food.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep.
But I want to take this opportunity to emphasize to our audience. I mean, profit is at the cornerstone of our industry's ability to do the things that make the world and our food supply system more sustainable. If the growers don't have strong returns, then the growers can't invest in the things that we know are important to, consumer research tells us that shoppers want things like more, they want products that are working towards carbon neutrality in their production. They want products where they know that there's equitable treatment of all of the team members that made that product possible. That is so important in farming. And without the proper returns to the growers, without that profit, there is less of an opportunity to invest in those critical areas to advance climate welfare and soil health, to advance the way that we're the human element and the social culture behind food and all consumer products. So it is important that we use this opportunity to just go on record and remind folks that profit is a huge part of sustainability. All right, now Jeff, another thing I want to ask
Mhm.
you is, as we talk about sustainability, what does sustainable packaging mean? Because some folks will just never, they view any form of packaging as non-sustainable. So what does sustainable packaging mean?
Well, I mean, sustainable is kind of a broad term.
Very
And that's
much.
one thing
Yeah.
we've really kind of tried to communicate with our clients and friends. And so, the overarching, sustainable packaging is, minimizing the environmental impact and footprint. Um, and this mostly pertains to the waste product, the end of the life of the product. But it also comes into play on the manufacturing of said product as well. So, there's a lot to it. What I can get into today is really the actual product. We manufacture ourselves. At Sev-Rend, we are very conscious on our manufacturing practices. We're in a newer facility. We have we utilize water-based inks for printing, which is less hazardous, less VOC emissions.
Nice.
We have a state-of-the-art electrical and waste system as well. So those are a couple things that we do as a company and focus on to try and minimize the impact of our manufacturing process for our packaging. Now, with the packaging itself, it's single-use plastics is the main issue, and that's the main thing that a lot of people are, and that's
For sure. Yeah.
what we run into is it's education is one thing we really focus on, and then also R&D, because we're really on the forefront of this issue, and we are in a position to be the problem solvers as well. And I know there's a lot of research, a lot of things going on with to focus on single-use plastics and try to curb the use and find a solution for that waste. Now, one thing also to talk about with plastics, I know they have a bad, a lot of people are like, ooh, single-use plastic's bad. I get it and I agree. At the same time, they do have a place. And we touched on a little bit earlier in this conversation, in preservation of the product. If you were to utilize different structures there, you may have spoilage on the shelf. And then you're losing a food product on top of it. So, there's that balance there. And the big thing right now for us is education and R&D on it. Education on what to do with the waste of this product, and then also finding a solution that is not just a putting a Band-Aid on the situation, but also giving an actual workable solution that can be taken globally.
Right.
So, with the education,
for sure. I mean, the previous episode that we did, Jeff, was with a company that's based in Los Angeles, and and we discussed that plastic waste is the problem. It's not necessarily plastic as the medium, which is used to transport so much of our fresh food, but rather the plastic waste. And I thought that, that was a great way to position it. And that was something that I honestly hadn't heard before. I was glad that they brought it up.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because one thing that we talk about internally here at Sev-Rend is I can't control how Lori disposes of her plastic waste or how Jeff disposes of it. I can educate, and we can do as much as we can to inform the public of that. And right now, with everything that's going on, the infrastructure that's readily available and in place is recyclable. And so, one thing that we are active in is a Sustainable Packaging Coalition. We're a member of that, but the How to Recycle labeling system is one that we've seen vigorously come up in the industry, and we're active in it. We work in it daily with our clients, and it's a great tool, because there is that education. It's telling that consumer how to properly dispose of it. Now, I can't control if that consumer is going to drop that in the recycling bin or take it to the store. And
consumer behavior is different, is another beast.
Exactly.
Well, I would encourage anyone who's super passionate in this space, wants to learn more about what exists here in the United States, go back into the archives. Episode 59 is the episode with Dave Beck from Our Planet Earth. And we really dive into plastic waste versus plastic. And so that's something that folks can reference. And I don't know, Jeff, you're right. It's consumer behavior that will take us all to change.
Yep. And that's one action that we kind of keep in our mind when we're looking for solutions. So, a lot of the R&D that we've been doing it very extensively for the past 4 or 5 years as a company. But we have come across a solution that we feel passionately that may be a game changer for this. And we are in the midst of launching a new line called Biolabel Solutions. Now, with Biolabel Solutions, it's a new offering from us. It's allows current plastic structures to fully degrade in both marine and terrestrial environments, leaving behind no microplastics.
Really?
Yes. So, and this is something that we're in the certification testing process. We just actually got done in testing and certified for several of our products. We're still doing it for a couple more, but we're in the midst of starting to roll this out and make it commercially available. And it's, with this solution, it's also FDA certified. It's Prop 67 compliant. And on top of all this, it's 100% recyclable. But the thing that we love about it is it takes that plastic product, and say if it makes its way into the landfill, it is actually going to degrade down to that landfill in a 24-month period. So,
whoa! I was not expecting you to say 24 months. I was expecting it to be like 24 years.
No. And that's the problem we see with plastics, is it's got such a long life to break down. What this is doing is speeding up that process. So it's something we're very excited about here. And my sales team is actually really starting to go very active. We've got several big names in the industry that we are already talking with and starting to test our product. Because, you got to think about it this way. You got 24 months for the breakdown. If that product is sitting on the shelf for 4 months, that eats into that timeline too. So there's that balance there. But we see this as a possible solution for all of our resin-based products that we manufacture internally here at Sev-Rend.
What's that mean? Like in produce department terms, what kind of products are those?
That's all plastic. So that's your stand-up pouches. That's your netting. That's your tags. That's your film net
shells,
bags.
Everything. Yeah.
We don't do any rigid plastics here.
Okay.
But here at Sev-Rend, we do.
Could the technology be carried forward as a full service? That's really the most important thing. No. Well, wow. I didn't know that. So that's amazing. So obviously the is this being driven by consumer trends, internal, your internal passions, the values for planet health that the industry of agriculture has, all the above? I mean, how does innovation happen with packaging? Like, who's the primary stakeholder that's moving the needle?
Well, I mean, consumer trends is probably the biggest. But what we have seen is consumer trend comes to the retail side, which then pressures the industry. And that's what we've seen and experienced. But we also internally, we all have one planet. We all have skin in this game. Mm-hmm. So, in terms of trying to find solutions for plastic waste is something that, everybody here at Sev-Rend is passionate about, because, we recognize and understand it as a problem, and we need to help and aid in the solution.
Yeah. I imagine morale's got to be high if you guys have this revolutionary, new product line that can really make such a huge difference. So is this like a finish line, or are you guys constantly working on process improvements in this space? Like,
this is just the beginning.
Right. So I'm glad you said that. I mean, I didn't tee it up, but I'm like, thank you for saying that. Okay.
What we're doing now is like I just mentioned, we have just finalized testing for a couple of products. Two of I'll bring up is like our netting and our film that you see, like the film net bags for onions and apples and citrus. So those two products actually just got certified. So Great. They're finalized for testing. They're commercially ready for market. Great. We're in the process of working with some of our partners in the packaging industry, because we don't manufacture every little bit and piece for, say, like the pouches or something like that. So like a zipper or something along those lines, we have to get from another vendor. So we're working with them so they can make sure that this is within the zipper line as well. Because keep in mind, every little piece of that package has to have this in it to be able to break down properly. So it's there's a lot of coordinating. There's a lot of discussions on our end, but we have industry partners that are, they're the same boat as we are, and they are passionate and working feverishly as well.
I love that. So, Jeff, I mean, this is totally a best days ahead type of sentiment that I have right now. Yes. That's how I feel after this discussion. Yes. I do feel like you guys have made such incredible advancements that, I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly hearing about them for the first time. I'm sure there's others tuned in today that feel the same way. So with that, I mean, we're kind of toward the end of our discussion now, but I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to share any final thoughts, let people, anything that you personally anticipate that is going to be coming in terms of packaging trends in the coming years.
Well, with packaging, I have to bring up COVID, and the environment we're living in right now, because the retail side, we've seen a huge surge on packaging demand in the past 8-10 months. And we don't anticipate that changing anytime soon. I'm praying right now that by this time next year, this cloud has been lifted and we are back to normal, or mostly back to normal. But in those regards, with the COVID environment, we're seeing consumers that are shopping, they're shopping less, but when they go to the store, they're buying more. But also, with fresh produce, there's that stigma around, the loose produce. They'd rather buy that 2, 3, 5 pound bag of apples or onions, because they're not going to be going to the store, once a week, or they're trying to curb going to the store once a week. So we continue that. We see that trend probably staying as is for probably well into 2021. But the sustainable side is here to stay. That is something that we see is it's going to continue. There's going to be new developments. There's going to be advancements made. But the thing I feel good about is humans, human race is going to really focus on trying to find a solution for this. We've gotten to a point with our society that I don't think we can ignore it much longer. And with that being said, that's when innovation comes into play, and we're already seeing it with our Biolabel Solution line.
Yes, indeed you are. No, I'd say you're seeing it, you're leading it, and you're on your way. This is wonderful. I'm full of hope and optimism and gratitude. So this has been a great discussion, Jeff. I truly have enjoyed it, and I've learned a lot. And I do feel like it was definitely like a scratch of the surface, though, and what folks could learn. You can check out Sev-Rend online, folks. Sev-Rend.com if you want to learn more about this company and the different product lines that they have. And Jeff, any closing remarks or final thoughts from you?
Well, again, I really want to thank Lori, yourself, and the Produce Moms team for, allowing me the opportunity to come on and talk. I really appreciate it. One thing that, with Sev-Rend, one thing we really drive home as a company mantra is, when our friends, our clients succeed, we succeed. And so we always try to stack the deck, for the best outcomes possible in those regards. So, that's one thing that we've always kind of seen with it at Sev-Rend here. But I also wanted to open the door. If anybody has any direct questions or wants to reach out to me directly, I have no problem with that. You can reach out to me via email at jwatkin@sev-rend.com. That's JWATKIN. I'm happy to answer any questions or give any more insights on the things we've talked about today. And then also we are in the midst of getting ready to launch a new website. We have a placeholder up right now. It's biolabelsolutions.com. That's to give more information out there about the Biolabel line that we have talked about today.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Produce Moms Podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a featured guest, just send an email to lori@theproducemoms.com. We know there is a produce mom in you because there's a produce mom in all of us. Join our community on Facebook and all social platforms. Help us change the way America eats. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.